Have you been missing targets because you're too focused on lead? What if I told you there's a simpler way to hit more consistently by letting the target do the work? Stay tuned because I'm about to flip your whole approach to shooting on its head. Lead, lead, lead. Could it be that shotgun shooting instructors, or simply well-meaning friends, have been setting their students up for failure? This is because every lesson given has been built around the concept of leading the target, which of course you need to do. But how much lead does a target require? How does one generate the required lead? What does the lead picture look like? Lead, lead, lead. Everything is always about lead. I think it is high time that we think about changing our thought process and throwing out this lead-based approach to teaching a student how to hit a moving target. I know there's going to be some disagreement about what I am going to lay out for you, but I think you will at least understand, if not agree with, why I am taking this position. Yes, every target requires lead, but is leading the target really the best way to explain this concept? I don't think so. It's undeniable that every target demands some degree of forward allowance by the barrels to ensure the shot string meets a moving target. For certain targets, this forward allowance is substantial, while for others, it's minimal. The key takeaway is that our barrels must always be positioned ahead of every moving target to achieve success. Barrels, barrels, barrels. The real question is, how do we get our barrels into the correct position? The trouble with telling someone to lead a target is that they start thinking about and focusing on the barrels. When you ask someone to lead a target, their focus instantly shifts to barrel-related concerns. Where are my barrels aimed? Which direction are they moving? How fast are they going? Barrel, 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 it becomes all about the barrels. Every thought the shooter has is fixated on their barrels. Relying on a barrel or gap-focused approach for shooting will never yield consistent results. On the other hand, a target-centered approach is not only easier to grasp but also highly effective. As soon as a shooter's mind focuses on the barrels, their eyes are soon to follow. And when a shooter's eyes drift onto the barrels, the chances of them hitting the target drop significantly. When letting the target push the barrels will always be on the forward side of the bird. Gap, gap, gap. I know some of you might argue that lead is really about the bird-barrel relationship or the gap between the bird and the barrels. But when that happens, we start asking gap-related questions. How much gap is there between the bird and my barrels? Is that gap above or below the target line? Is it increasing, staying the same, or decreasing? Every thought becomes about that gap. And as soon as a shooter's focus shifts to the gap barrel, and their eyes follow. Once their eyes lock onto the gap, the chances of hitting the target drop significantly. The question of gap-based shooting is probably argued by shooters and instructors alike. So what's right? Who do you listen to? You must utilize a system that keeps your mind and eyes focused on the target while delivering the required amount of forward allowance at the same time. 1. Lead is an output, not a process. As shooters, we should always be focused on process. 2. Lead is almost never the problem. As shooters, we should always be focused on the true root cause of a problem. 3. Lead is where a shot string goes in relation to a target. So what's forward allowance? Let the target push your barrels. It's that easy. Telling someone to let the target push the barrels leads to them focusing on the target. It is a very simple way to get a shooter both in rhythm with a target and get their barrels moving along the correct line. Think about it. If the target is moving slowly, it pushes the barrels slowly. If the target is moving fast, it's pushing the barrels fast. If the target is flying level, it pushes the barrels level. If the target is climbing, it pushes the barrels up. By simply allowing the target to guide the barrels, you'll naturally stay online and in sync with it. This straightforward approach greatly improves your chances of breaking targets. Your focus should always be on the target. When a shooter's mind locks into the target, their eyes quickly follow. And when their eyes are on the target, the likelihood of hitting it increases significantly. Rather than thinking about lead, just concentrate on the target. This approach will result in beautifully executed, maintained lead shots, which is the easiest and most consistent shooting technique for most targets. However, this approach does not limit us to shooting every target with a maintained lead. There is one important factor you should know. When using this approach to target shooting, if the target is always pushing the barrels, then the shooter's insertion point must always be in front of the target. I realize that this approach to shooting targets does not answer the question, how much lead? Do not try to calculate or measure leads. Just see the target, shoot the target. If you truly let the target push the barrels, you will be amazed at how effectively the subconscious mind and your hand-eye coordination will work together to put your barrels into the exact spot they need to be when you release the shot. Let your eyes move your barrels. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more shooting tips and tutorials, and share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and happy shooting!